Class, the podcast. Hello and welcome to Cooking Class. This is the podcast where we celebrate the women of IFMA and the women in Muay Thai from around the world. Today, we have born in the USA, California, Angela Rivera, but known to us as none other than Angie Parr. She was dominating the American scene, the fight scene in America, when she met a professional fighter from Australia, John Wayne Parr, moved to Australia and had the second guest that we have with us today, Jazzy Parr, her daughter. Both fantastic athletes in their own right, here with us today on Kicking Glass. Welcome, Angie. Welcome, Jazzy.
Thank you, Sue, for having us. Hi, thank you.
Hi, it is such an honor. I feel so super lucky to have you guys here. Like two different generations. I feel that Angie and I were around the same generation, fighting around the same time. And our daughters are like 2 months apart in age. So they were born pretty much the same time, except Jazzy's gone into fighting. My daughter's gone into acting. And I so think I would have loved to have had a daughter that fought, but that wasn't to happen yet. Let's go back to you, Angie. So you were like one of the number one people in America. Actually, until I did this, I didn't even know that you were born in America. I don't even know what I was thinking, actually, to be honest. But you took up martial arts as a way of self-defense, and in none other than Master Toddy, who is a very well-respected trainer and well-known all around the world. Can you tell me a little bit about what it was like for female fighters in the USA back then?
It was actually so much fun because I was only like one female fighter on a whole show of boys fighting and men fighting. And I remember even training with this guy, and he's like, "Oh, you should be a ring card girl and not a fighter." And then I remember, I remember seeing him 2 years later, and I just won a belt. I was like, "Remember when you said that I should be a ring card girl? And look, I got a belt, and you don't have one." I was a little bit cheeky. It was a little bit sexist what he said to me, and I was just like, "Why can't I be a fighter?"
A little bit sexist. That's extremely sexist. That used to so piss me off when they would put a girl walking around in the middle of my ring, and I'm like, "Oh, bitch, get out of my ring." Or I shouldn't say that, should I? I was like, if you're not fighting, you shouldn't be in here with me. You know, give me a good-looking guy to walk around in front of me, so I got something to look at during the break.
I've promoted shows, and I've had male ring card boys, just to give it a little bit of different diversity, and yeah, it was pretty cool.
So you have had 47 fights to your name?
I had 47. I didn't make 50.
Didn't make the 50, but 8 knockouts? That is huge.
Yeah, it was okay. I mean, I would have loved to have more knockouts.
I was happy with my one. So I'm like...
I don't know, with female fighters, I was just saying this on a Facebook post. I said, what about if the girls had lighter gloves? And as we don't have as much muscle mass as the male fighters, there'd be more knockouts. It'd be more exciting. Like instead of 8-ounce, girls wore 6-ounce. And my husband said even when he fought in Thailand, he fought with 6-ounce gloves, and it just makes it more exciting. Yeah. Yeah,
and they've gone to thinner gloves too with different forms of Muay Thai, which is quite interesting. So maybe they're taking up your suggestion. And less than 10 losses, which is amazing as well. Your last fight, though, was in the MMA cage. Tell us a little bit about her.
But it was under CMT rules, so cage Muay Thai. I fought stand up for, I think it was just only 3 rounds, but it was pretty exciting fighting with the little gloves. It definitely, like the more I hit her, the more damage it was doing on her, and eventually she dropped in the 3rd round, but she continued the fight, and I won on points.
And you knocked her down in the last few seconds, because I watched it the other day just to check. Yeah. Hey, and we were just recently at a show. You were over in New Zealand doing a seminar with your husband, and there was an MMA fight on there, and I was thinking, it's going to be a little bit boring, but
it was so exciting.
It was like, actually, I so loved it. I surprised myself. I did a couple of MMA fights, and
oh, did you?
Yeah, and they were pretty good. I got my elbow, I popped because I wasn't going to tap, so maybe it wasn't such a good idea. But what I was going to come back to was I've just lost my question and where I was at. Holy, how rude. I was just thinking, like, she was 41 when you fought her. So,
yeah, I'm 44. My bones are not the same anymore, so I wouldn't come back to fighting. But I wish maybe I took a break and came back and did a couple more. But I just knew I was kind of done fighting. I was 33. I knew like I wasn't at my prime anymore. I didn't enjoy training as much anymore. So I kind of stopped training for 3 or 4 years, Muay Thai, and then I got back into it a little bit, and then it just wasn't for me anymore. When I turned 40, I started jiu-jitsu, and I really love that. So I just it would be crazy to think now if 44 at 41 coming back and having a Muay Thai fight, it would be pretty insane. I don't think I do. I think after having babies too, your body changes quite a bit, and it just didn't interest me to fight in my 40s
anymore. Yeah, I fully agree. My body too, after having kids, is just not the same. But talking about kids, I had Iman Barlow on our podcast the other week, and so she had her first fight at 4, but Jazzy's also sort of around, she was 8, I think. Is that right, Jazzy? Yeah. But tell us a little, there was like a whole lot of controversy. People thought that you were in there getting smashed over as a little kid. I can't believe anyone would be smashing you over, but tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, it was pretty wild, like, for myself, because basically, like, martial arts is all I've ever known. I've been in the gym my whole life, so when, like, people were thinking that I was in a bad place or in a bad position, it was kind of, like, confusing and a bit overwhelming, because I was super confused why anyone could think it would be so bad, because it is so super controlled. We have complete protection on. We got headgear, shin pads, you know, we got big 16-ounce gloves on. Like, it was super safe. It was super controlled. And then when there was, like, just a lot of controversy, it was very confusing. And I was 8 years old, so I didn't really understand. It was just very confusing. But I just knew that everyone and anyone knew what was happening and that I was fighting and why was I fighting. But yeah, I love it. And I think I'm doing pretty well for myself. I actually seen a teacher the other day, and he's like, "How old are you now?" I was like, "I'm 20 actually." And I'm a 2-time world champion now. So yeah, I'm doing pretty good since I left school, because I finished school in year 10. I dropped out of school to fight professionally, and a lot of the teachers and the school wasn't really happy with me leaving, didn't think that it was a real job, but I'm feeling pretty happy now.
It is. And I'm the teacher, and I work with a lot of kids, and they go, "Oh, I'm dropping out," like, because I did too. And I'm like, we got to change that language, because it's not, it's so not dropping out. That is making a life choice towards a career you want to go to. So don't listen to any of them, because like at 17, you also won a gold medal in the Asia Pacific, and that was in BJJ, yeah?
Oh, yes, yeah. I forgot about that.
She tore a woman's arm, and she had to get surgery just to get it fixed. Yeah, Jazzy was good at jiu-jitsu. I wish she still did.
She's on her own journey. Somebody is just Sonia from, I think she's Gold Coast too. Her daughter was fighting. I've just forgotten her daughter's name. But when and where are you fighting next, Jazzy? Because they want to know. People want to see you.
I don't have anything booked yet, but we're just in the works with some things, and hopefully the next couple of months there'll be some fight news. But I'm staying ready. I'm training every day, and I'm super eager to fight. So whenever anyone and wherever anyone is keen to fight, I'm ready to go. Ready to go.
Gloves, mouth guard, always like in the bag with you.
Yep.
Because you fought in Thailand, you fought in USA, England, Canada, you fought all over the world, 2 world titles as well, in a myriad of disciplines, so many different martial arts. You've also got a world title in boxing. Is that sort of where you're looking to go from here?
Yeah, so I've only got world titles in boxing. I got an intercontinental title in Muay Thai, which is probably the biggest belt that I've got in Muay Thai, where I fought over in the UK. But no, I'm absolutely loving boxing. I'm sticking with boxing. I'm not fighting Muay Thai anymore. Sorry, everyone. But I'm not fighting Muay Thai anymore. I know exactly what I want to do with my life. I've got a plan, and I have a goal, and I'm going to get there.
That's it. Hey, if you make your plan and you go to it, like, you could always come back to Muay Thai for fun or shit and giggles, but like, if you've got a plan and that's where you're going, I think that's fantastic. I actually was the first woman to get a professional boxing title in New Zealand, and I think I was the first Asia Pacific women's boxing title I fought, a professional one.
Cool.
Yeah, so
How many fights did you have?
I had 54, but that's across disciplines. Same
as me. That was across
Yeah.
boxing, MMA, and Muay Thai.
Yeah, so because like sometimes I would get one fight in a year.
Yeah, it's
And
frustrating.
it's hard to grow. So how many have you got now, Jazzy?
About 34 fights with all of my disciplines. But not jiu-jitsu, but boxing and Muay Thai.
Oh, man.
4 boxing.
4 boxing, 4 non-boxing, and then Muay Thai. I don't know my record right now, but
Enough.
30 Muay Thai fights. So.
Sweet. And Angie, you fought opponents from Thailand. You fought opponents from Russia. You had 8 US champion belts, I think, as well. And how many world titles? Was it 3 world titles you got?
2. 1 amateur and 1 professional.
I was talking to somebody today. You might know him, Kevin Dick. So he said he said something about one of your world titles, and him and John Wayne were partying and singing so much that you got no sleep the night before your title, and you were very dark on them. Is this true?
Honestly, that's probably why I retired fighting, because Kevin. No, I honestly, like, every time I would fight or some, like, a camp was coming up, it was just me. Like, it was myself having to push the training and get up early, and sometimes, like, camps, I'd be taking care of babies and stuff like that. And then that night, Kevin and Wayne thought they'd have a few drinks, and Wayne's not even a drinker now, but I don't know what they were thinking, but I was pissed. I was like, you guys, if I lose tomorrow, it's your fault.
But you didn't. You won, right?
Yeah.
Brilliant. Jazzy, so you grew up in a gym, like you said. I remember my daughter, I remember sticking her, I think the first time, she was 6 weeks when she went to her first Muay Thai show, and I passed her out to Lola Hermuli's wife, Lenata, and I got her back at the end of the show because I was judging, and she just went all around the place. I'm sure your experience is a bit like that as well. Can you tell us what it's like to be someone growing up in a Muay Thai gym, best bits and worst bits, maybe?
What was the last bit you said, sorry?
Oh, what are your best bits or memories from growing up in a Muay Thai gym? And the worst ones.
Yeah, wow, there's a lot of memories. I don't even know where to start, really. But yeah, the first place I ever went when I left the hospital was the gym. I've been living and breathing martial arts since I was born, so yeah, it's pretty wild. Like, but
What's a good memory?
There's so many. I honestly cannot even pick one thing.
Remember when Dad fought in Japan and the guy got knocked out, and then he met the whole family after?
Yeah, so my dad knocked someone out, and I was like 4 or 5 years old, and it was like I thought my dad killed someone because my dad knocked out, and the way the guy fell, he just went and he face planted, and he was in like a pool of blood, and I was like, I ran up to my dad after the fight, and I was like, why did you kill him? It was like my dad was all happy, and I was just like, you're a monster. Yes, that was pretty traumatizing.
But the sweetest part about that was after the fight, Kozo came to the change room and brought his little kid and his wife in and introduced everyone, and he gave Jasmine a cuddle, and it was so sweet. Like, it was just, honestly, I mean, the fight was brutal, but the ending was pretty special.
Nice.
Yeah, there's been a lot of amazing memories from Muay Thai. You meet a lot of amazing people, and I've made friends all across the world. So I'd say that's probably the best part. Yeah,
because Tira, who we also interviewed, because you were both in the Challenger together. Yeah. Tira's kind of same as you, because she grew up with her mum and dad in her gym.
I know. When we first met, I was like, what the heck? You're exactly like me, but completely different.
Yeah, she was cute. I loved her from the first minute I met her, and I saw her video and saw her personality, and Jazzy and her are just like 2 peas in a pod. They're very cute. So, love Money T.
Yeah, she's pretty awesome. She also Team Money. Whichever.
Brackets down here.
She said that sometimes she found it hard being in the gym because she didn't know. And Iman said the same thing too, because of course her dad's her trainer as well. She said she used to find it when she was younger hard to differentiate between their parent was being their coach and when their parent was being their parent. Did you find the same sort of thing, or?
Why are you looking at me like that?
No, they've both said it. So like I figure it's got to be, and I think my kids were like similar.
Yes, definitely.
Because, well, my mom's always hard on me all the time. So, and I don't know, it's just like...
That's our job.
But I'm not really joking. I'm scared she's going to hit me under the table. No, I'm just joking. But, like, sympathy and, like, stuff like that. Like, my parents don't give me much sympathy. They're very tough on me. But that makes me a very tough person, and I think I have thick skin because of that. And I'm not a baby.
Yeah, and like if our relationship's rocky and she, she's not getting her way or she's not happy, she can be a little bit of a princess. And I'm just like, you just have to respect us because we're not just your parents. We're your boss. We're the owner of the gym. You have to respect that part of their business. And sometimes she when she was younger, she didn't really understand. But now that she's gotten older, she understands a lot more.
Yeah, Tara said the same thing. She said, yeah, she found it quite hard until she got a little bit older to understand the difference. So Kev's going, yeah. Hey,
spill all the beans about you, Kevin.
Hey, so talking about being in the gym, Angie, you are probably one of the foremost female trainers around the world. It's a co-ownership in the gym. How do you find being a female trainer? Do you train men as well? Do you just train the women? How do you work?
Sometimes I feel like that people don't respect the fact that I'm telling them something, and I'm like, guys, my picture's on the wall. Like, I've had fights. I've done my apprenticeship. You need to listen. With my experience, you're going to get the best results. And lately, the kids here have been listening so well, and they're doing so great. They're like undefeated. They're winning by knockout. They're listening. They're being coachable. So as long as people are listening, we can take them all the way. But as soon as they don't believe in me or their coach, they're not going to have the same results.
Yeah.
So sometimes I have to demand the respect, and if I was a man, I wouldn't have to do that. So that's all right. I get the big dog Wayne to come, and nobody wants to see him when he's grumpy. So, but as well, me, sometimes they're afraid of me because I can be, a little bit scary and stuff like that. I can hold pads for the male fighters. I can coach them in the corner, and I can, tell them what they should be doing with their time, with diet, with running, with like sleep and all that stuff. So if they can listen to me, because it's not only my experience as a fighter, I've been with John Wayne for 100 weight cuts. I've been with John Wayne for so many world titles, probably 8. He was probably 2-time world champion when I met him. So I have that experience as well. And then I have my kids who are examples of what we produced from the start. So, I hope they respect me as a person, not just as a woman, So,
yeah. That definitely makes sense. And things were quite different back in our day. Like quite a few of my students say to me, "Oh, have you got videos of yourself?" I'm like, but we didn't even have like phones that you could actually text on.
And it's buried in my shed. So yeah, I don't have that many videos. I wish I did. John Wayne was so good at keeping all of his footage. So he's got a lot. And also he was on the King's birthday that was recorded in a DVD and CD or something back in the day. So there's a lot of footage of him, which is great, but there's not too much of me.
So what I was just wondering was, like, Jazzy, you're of a different generation, and your generation uses social media like amazingly, and a lot of people follow you because you're so damn good at it, like you are really awesome at the way you market yourself, you put yourself out there, you show all different parts of your personality. Can you tell me a little, because I'm quite ignorant really, so can you tell me a little bit about that and what you do and how you do and how you've got to be so damn successful at it?
I don't really know. I just try to be myself as much as I can. I don't really want to portray that I'm someone that I'm not because I want people to meet me, and if they meet me in person, I want them to know exactly who they're seeing. I'm very open about what I about my opinion. I'm very open about what I believe in and my rights and my passion for martial arts, my passion for being healthy, my passion for all the extra stuff that I like to do. Putting your energy in positive places. At the moment, I'm going horse riding and surfing when I'm not training. So trying to go to the beach and fill my soul with stuff that's real and give myself real dopamine rather than being on the phone. Although it might look like I'm on my phone all the time, I try on the weekend. I don't like being on my phone, or I try and stay as much off my phone as possible. I like technology, but I don't love technology, and I don't love technology at all. It scares the hell out of me, so I just try and keep it where
she knows what people want to see. And back when you could see the likes and stuff, people love training videos. I love training videos. People love to see what she's wearing. They like fashion. They like, when she used to do makeup tutorials as a kid, they loved it. And you love it. You were following makeup tutorials. It's just whatever you're into, you post about. And
Yeah, well, I think you've done amazingly well in it, and I think you're quite right. I like the way your whole personality comes across, your energy comes across in it, your beauty, not just your physical beauty, but your soul.
She's honestly of course everybody thinks her kids are sweet and nice, but she's not a nasty person. She's so sweet, and she actually doesn't really like being overwhelmed with negativity and stuff like that. So she's a little hippie, a little bit of a crystal lover. She likes.
Hippie. I'm just spiritual. I'm very spiritual.
And it's opposite kind of to what I am. I'm just I'm pretty basic. I just love
Right.
I'm simple. I'm very simple, but she's very spiritual.
She's very content.
I'm very content.
For me, things will affect me a lot. If there's if I don't know, just negativity around, I will feel that negativity, and it really affects me, and I really don't like that. So I just try and fill myself with positive stuff all the time, and that's all I'm trying to portray to people is just be positive.
That's fantastic. And do the first thing, I hadn't met you since I think you were still a baby when I saw you last. And when I saw you in Thailand, because you were there with Tira, and I was surprised that I thought you were taller. You look so tall on Instagram.
She is a little shorty.
Yeah, I'm 5'2". I'm a little baby. I'm small.
Yeah.
Small but fancy, and good things come in small packages like diamonds, right?
Yeah, that's what Mom said to me. Hey, any boy you want. You
got a lot of choices. When you're short.
When you're short.
When you're tall.
Then not so many options, right? Hey, now I'm going to ask you this right in the middle of our thing. So this was a question from somebody we've got a few people that sent some questions in. So I'll give you both an option to answer this, and you're allowed to answer it however you like. We won't judge you, and you can choose not to. In your primes, so you may or may not be there yet, Jazzy. You might decide it's in the future a bit. And Angie, in your prime, if you two were fighting against each other, who would win?
I'd smash her.
She would.
Oh, no contest.
No. Actually,
She hasn't got to her prime yet, maybe, though.
To be fair, when I was my strong point was my teep. So if I was aggressive with my teep and I landed, I could beat her. But if she got into my range with her boxing, that was probably my weakness. I lost to a couple short fighters that could box really well, and Jazzy's always been really good with her hands. So who knows? Maybe if you got past my teep, you'd smash me.
Oh, and you know her teeps. You could train for that.
Yeah.
She'll beat me now.
Yeah, you were super, super famous for your teep. Your Angie. I mean, you've got a nice knockout right hand, and your body movement's really fantastic. But you were probably most famous for your teep, right? Do you pass that on in the gym? Do you teach it, or do you look to see what might be their strength?
I use it not as much as I did when I trained it, but honestly, if somebody's long and rangy, I'm like, use your teep. But I'm trying to get everyone to get more power with their teep at the moment. But I never have trained anyone with the teep as much as I practice the teep and use the teep. Like I would be doing repetition after repetition of teeps, and like I would put like an X on a bag and I would teep it like to the face, 500 times. So, or well, like body, face, body, like, so I just feel like repetition is key for the teep. And I really haven't pushed it so much, but we have a young fighter, Josh. He's got a very good teep and side kick. And I think it, because he's short, it actually, gets him closer because he starts with a teep and then he gets in there with his hands. So even for a shorter fighter, I would use a teep.
Ah, that's cool. I do like the teep. Or actually, no, I used to hate the teep when people used it against me because it just used to annoy me a lot.
Yeah, you got to have a good parry too. So like, because I had a good teep, I had a good parry, and I have a different technique that I use to move the teep away, or I could catch a teep and I could sweep. So I like to use it as against me as well.
That's super cool. So back in 2008, let's just go back a few years time. This is when my second child was born. I've only got one son.
My son.
Yeah. And 03, Jazzy, you're 03?
03.
Yeah. Yep. Same. Daughter, son. 03 and 08. We're like twinning. So, but back then there was the Contender. So IFMA started the Contender. It was WMC, IFMA together, and then it's morphed into the Challenger. But JWP went on the Contender back then, and you were asked in an interview, Angie, if there was a women's version, would you go on it? And you'd said, "Oh, I've got 2 small kids, so that wouldn't be there for me." Yeah, you can't, right? But now,
like some parents can, and good on them. But for me, my kids slept in my bed. We were like this close. Yeah.
Yeah. So but nowadays, like this year, we've had the first Challengers. They're called Challenger, the battleground, and it was in Malaysia, and like Shah was it was really important to us to get women in there as well as men in there. So the first one it's kind of absolutely awesome that it's your daughter who was on it, and Tira was on it.
She said no at first, and then they really pushed it, like, we really want her on the show, and they pushed for her and she went on it.
That's fantastic, because you met Tara on there, and she told me one of the best things about being on there was actually meeting you in the family. So what like, I didn't even know that you guys and girls stayed in the same place. Like, I don't want to do any spoilers because it isn't out in New Zealand or Australia or America and that yet. But can you tell me a little bit about the experience as a person and meeting those other fighters and living in that environment?
Yeah, it was pretty wild. It was pretty hectic. It was very interesting experience. Definitely different. Definitely an experience. Probably the best thing was meeting my friends now. I've got like lifelong friends from that, and that's probably the best thing I got out of that. Yeah,
sometimes it is. It's the people you meet around the world. I think a lot of people find it's strange because, like, in UFC and that, they're always like, talking down to each other and talking smack to each other. And I find, like, in Muaythai and other, they don't. Like, how can you end up being...
When Wayne was on the Contender, the thing with the French fighter, they hated him. He was really, really bad.
Oh, so he didn't have that, like, cool vibe that most of us have going.
I don't know if they created that or it was just his personality, but he was a jerk. Like, he even cut Wayne, and he's like, I left him a scar. He'll always be reminded of that every time he looks in the mirror. It's like, jeez.
I should have told him to go do UFC. Oh, that's super cool. Yeah, because yeah, Tio talks about how awesome it was to meet you there and how amazing like it was for you guys bonding there together.
Well, that was like probably the best thing that happened. Like, you know, I got to meet up with some of the crew after the Challenger in Thailand this year, and then we had to have a little reunion. And then Tierra came and stayed at my house. I had Pop come also stay at my house. I've had 2 people from the Challenger come and stay and live with us and train at our gym. So pretty cool.
Yeah, so good.
That is pretty awesome, eh? I've got another few questions from the audience. So one question is to Angie. What do you see in your daughter that's the same as you, but also what do you see that's different as a fighter? Because obviously you're quite different personalities, but like skill, or what would be your favorite skill of Jazzy's, Ben?
Probably the jab, but then her dad could probably claim that jab. But I think the jab and the head movement, like, yeah, I think that's pretty similar to my style. What do you reckon? Yeah.
And your
And the Ramoy? Yeah, she copied my Ramoy. That was really cute. So very
That's cool.
Yeah.
So, and where did you get your
And, like,
Ramway from?
Like photos, you could see things. I was like, oh, is that me? Is that her? Like, you can see the same image, you know, in a fight stance or in a pose and stuff. We've kept those in our little favorite pile in our phone, and yeah, that's nice.
That's super cool. I think, you know, like, Angie, you're a forerunner in Muay Thai, paving the way for women. A question that, how different, maybe this one's to Jazzy, how different do you think it is, like, because you guys started a lot younger, like, how different do you think Muay Thai is or the fight game is now for your generation? Like, what do you think's different? What do you think you're doing to change it?
Oh, it's so different now. Even when I started fighting, it's so different. Like, there's so much more. Well, there's definitely a lot more women in the sport. There wasn't really near as many women that there are now, and I think that was a big help to like Ronda Rousey as well, because yeah, Ronda Rousey holding home. A lot of the girls in UFC, I think, really helped like kind of get the ball rolling for women, and then yeah, now I think it's pretty cool. It's very, very different, but yeah,
female fighters are main events.
Yeah.
So that's different. Like,
and all female fight cards, that was never a thing.
yeah. So that's
Yeah. Is there anything you want to make changes with, Jazzy? Like, what would you want to do, or as you go forward?
I don't know. I'm pretty happy. I don't know. Get more money. Yeah. I like money. Give us more money when we pay. Like, man, even when we watched a good movie a couple of days ago, and it was saying like, you know, well, women, it's not the same. Women don't get paid the same, even though they're just as successful as the men. It's like, yeah, but you know, we're putting in the hard yards too. We're doing a show. Like, look at Katie Taylor and you know some of the girls now fighting in Madison Square Garden. Yeah, show us the money.
Show us the money. That is so true, because it's not like you don't do half a job of training. You don't do half a job when you're in the ring fighting. You're actually doing the same job.
It is getting more acceptable though, and the girls are, you know, exciting and becoming main events. So I think it's still pretty. I think we're doing well. All you need is like more like shows. Like, remember how the Ultimate Fighter had that reality TV show? You got to know people's personalities. That really brought it out. That's what people need to see, is like more, you know, advertising, like showing the behind the scenes, like One Championship does. And you know, you see the background stories for fighters like Iman, and you know, you see that she started when she was a little girl, and then you're just relatable. And like Stan Fairtex, you know, she came from a poor family, and then now she's giving money to her mom and dad. It's just finding that backstory, and because Jazzy's well known, like people love her and they support her because they know her family. It's all out there already, you know.
It's kind of sharing that behind the scenes. We're actually people. We're not because they used to think that if a woman fought it, they must have been real thuggish or something. And I remember with interviews, and people would be like, "Oh, what? You're educated? Like, what? You can't be educated at fight?"
Janet Todd's a freaking rocket scientist. Like, come on.
That's true.
There's some smart ladies out there, and they're fighting.
And actually, Jazzy, didn't you fight someone that's now fighting in one championship and you bet them?
Oh, yeah, I fought Nat Wonder Girl. So there's Nat Wonder Girl, and then her sister is Supergirl. I don't remember whatever.
You fought Wonder Girl.
But I fought Wonder Girl. There's two sisters. But yeah, they're in one championship now, which is pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. And you guys just returned. So I was saying before that you've been around New Zealand, you've been around America, you've been running some seminars and stuff with John Wayne. And what would you? We've got quite a few females that are now running gyms around the world, which is fantastic. What kind of advice? What advice would you have for them?
Just keep going and you know, have resilience. If you fail, just try again. If something doesn't work, you can, you know, change your times tables. You can, you know, do some free self-defense classes for the ladies. I did that with no intention of joining members, and I got 10 people to sign up. So like, you know, giving your free time as well is going to help bringing people into your gyms, and you know, doing displays of yourself kicking and punching, or videos and self-promotion. Don't be afraid to promote yourself. If you're really good at something and you have footage, show it off. Like, don't be shy, don't be embarrassed. I think like my gym's really successful because I am able to promote Jasmine. I'm able to promote John Wayne, and I've done a little bit of my own self-promotion lately, and not being shy about it, because you just gotta be confident in the sport.
Yeah, that's definitely true, isn't it? And I think that media is quite important nowadays, like for people to know who you are and where you are. Jazzy, so how do people follow you? Like, what's your handle?
Also, they can follow me on Instagram. I mainly use Instagram. I have TikTok as well, but it's Jazzy Parr _. And then I'm actually doing a subscription, so you can subscribe to my Instagram, and I have a lot of behind the scenes stuff. So I posted stuff behind the scenes of the Challenger, behind the scenes of Fight Camp. You'll be the first to know when I'm fighting next. It's pretty cool, actually. I got a good little community going on over there. So just on Instagram, and yeah, you can follow me, Jazzy Parr _.
Yeah, it was funny because her half brother was kind of sussing her out. He's like, "What are you putting on those videos?"
My younger brother said, "Show me what you're posting."
Yeah, and I was just like, "You're not getting OnlyFans," because I've seen, like, you know, Paige and Stan, like, Sting, even just her profile. I was like, "That's porn." Like, I don't want that for my kid. You can keep some money. You could be a millionaire, but you're gonna sell your soul to the devil if you want to show the behind the scenes. Or there's so much that we do in our life that we don't post. So it's really good for her to have that exclusive fan base, and they can get a little bit more footage. And yeah, she does look great in a bikini, and so they can see her surfing. You know, it's nothing tasteless.
No, I like her. Like, I've looked at all of your stuff, and I'm like, you know, it's young, it's got a positive vibe, it's real, it's fantastic. So at Jazzy Parr _ is where they should find you. And Angie, you've got one too, right?
Yeah, it's just Angie Rivera-Parr on Instagram.
And what kind of do you have one together, or we just got two separate entities, or
two separate entities? And I post a lot on mine about my kids, about my gym, and just a little bit of motivational stuff. I like putting the videos up where my kids bash me. Those ones views. They like to see my kids hurt me. So yeah, that's what the people like to see. So my son Jesse's getting really strong, and I was like, Jesse, we gotta make a video soon.
That's brilliant. So, Jazzy, there was one other thing I wanted to ask you. Now it's gone from my head. I'm doing that a lot today. I'll come back to it. Have you guys got anyone? Oh, that's what it was. No, I remember. Getting sponsorship. Like, back in my day, you couldn't get it. Nobody wanted to talk to any females, but you're actually pretty good at it. You've got people sponsoring you and following you. Yeah. Do we need to do a shout out to somebody?
Just shout out to Ringers Western. I just got a new sponsor. They just want to support me, and I said I want to be a cowgirl, and they're fulfilling my dreams.
She's got cowboy boots, cowboy hat, and she's gonna go ride horses this weekend. Yeah.
That's brilliant, because that's not even fighting.
Of course, she should be a little cowgirl.
Oh no, that's brilliant.
2 cowboys.
So did they approach you or do you approach them? Do you have like any
networking?
Yeah.
People, you talk to people, you know, tell people what you're
And
interested
manifesting. Anything is possible if you want it. It's the law of attraction. It is facts.
manifest
Want
it?
something, you get it.
She does.
Brilliant.
She writes it.
I write it down.
She writes it down.
I have a journal. I've got saying how bad I wanted to be sponsored by Jeep. I'm going to have a Jeep. I'm so grateful I have a Jeep. You act like you have it and you will get it. I can.
So she's sponsored by Jeep, and I bought a Jeep because it was such an amazing car, and yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's cool because I was going to ask you what advice have you got to someone, but I like that. Like define your goals and just chase them, and you will get them.
Manifest, believe,
Put it out there,
and achieve.
Believe and you shall achieve. Have you got, we'll start with Angie and then go to Jazzy and then come back. Have you got any advice or anything you want to share from your time in the martial arts and doing what you've done that you want to share with our viewers?
Right now, I'm so fully thinking about my children and my younger generation of competitors. I'm like, enter every comp, do every fight, every competition that you want to do, because if you want to be that 1%, if you want to make it like John Wayne Parr, if you want to make it into the UFC, it's like 1%. Like you gotta have experience behind you, and if you don't have experience, you're gonna get smashed when you go into the big leagues. And I want to take them there. Like that is my whole goal. That's why I'm learning jiu-jitsu, and that's why I'm trying to be a better coach and keep myself learning different sports, is because I want my kids to be that as amazing, as successful as my husband has been.
That's brilliant. And Jazzy, what about you? What advice have you got for people out there? Our
My
watchers.
advice would just be
Listen to your parents.
I was gonna say, listen. But if you say you're gonna do something, do it. You know, just stay strong. And if it was easy, everyone would do it. So either start now or don't start. No,
Or-
just go
yeah.
do it. Always just try. You gotta do your best and listen to your coaches. They have the best intention for you. If they don't, try somewhere else and see who with a team that's gonna fully support you. And I know our team is very strong, and we're very lucky. We've got a good little crew at the moment. So yeah, it's been really good. Stay strong.
That's brilliant. It's a whole family gym, your gym, isn't it? So there's not just the two of you, there's your dad, your brother. How do you like, is your whole gym like this, like even bigger extended family?
Yes, come here, Daniel. Please. So this is our Professor Daniel, and honestly, he's like a big brother, a little brother. He's younger than me. Sorry, little brother, but he's a big
Hey,
little brother.
Daniel.
And
Hello.
like our plan is, you know, to have the best jiu-jitsu program here. So Professor Daniel runs that, and he's training my son. And like, if you saw the wall, how many medals he's won is crazy.
Well, tell us, come on, give us a quick bio, Daniel. Who are you? Where are you from? What do you do before we wrap up our show? Don't go too far away, you two girls.
I'm Brazilian. So I've been doing jiu-jitsu for around 28 years. Yeah, 4 or 5 years ago, I have a chance to come and met this amazing family here. And then now I'm part of the family as
We've
well.
been with you for 4 years.
4 years,
And this is his like other home at Boonshu.
Yeah, and then really grateful because especially Wayne and Angie, they always believe me. And then when I start talking about talking Jazzy overseas, stuff like that, and Gemma, they believe me, and then just become one of the best kids in Australia and around the world as well. And Gemma's been doing very well. It's amazing to be here all the time. Yeah,
We believe in you.
Yeah,
Gotta believe
And
in
I
your
believe-
coaches.
all the time. You have to believe on your coaches. Like what they say, you have to do. That's what you have to do. Yes.
Any other advice you've got for us?
Jiu-jitsu is not easy. That's what I'm gonna say. Just make sure be patient, and then keep training. It's not an easy martial art to do. You show up one time per week, you're not gonna improve anything. Just make sure you show up every day.
Every day. If you want to get somewhere, do it every single day, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Discipline over motivation.
Yeah, and even like with Daniel, he's such just a positive vibe, and just part of the family. Like when Jazzy was boxing, because we wanted Jazzy to go into MMA with Daniel as our head professor, but she changed paths to boxing, and we were like, Daniel, please come in the corner, because we still want you part of the team. No matter what sport we're doing, we're just work together as a family, and that's the type of vibe that we have here.
That's brilliant. Well, I would love to see Jazzy in the Hall of Fame for women's boxing later on. So I'm just throwing that goal out to you.
Yes.
Is that one already written down? Am I too late? Hey, I just want to say a big thank you to both of you for coming today. I just love seeing this mum-daughter vibe, and thanks to you, Daniel. I just think it's just fantastic to have you both here. I love the way you're trailblazing, following each other, supporting each other and women around the world to follow their dreams as well. Because if we see you guys do it, then I know there's more people around the world that'll look at you and go, oh, actually, maybe I can do it too. And you just set this path on fire for so many women around the world. So I'd like to thank you for them, and also thank you for all the young girls that also want to be like you and look up to you. I know I've had a lot of girls I've trained, and they're like, oh my God, do you know who Jazzy Parr is? I says, yeah, I've heard of it. And they're like, oh, she's just so beautiful and so good. And you really inspire them. So all over the world.
Thank you. We're proud of her. She's just keeps pushing, you know, like people put a lot of pressure on her because she is a Parr, but it doesn't faze her. She just knows she has to work hard, and she's fine with it. She's resilient. Best thing
in life is if your kids are better than you are, isn't it?
Yeah, she's already surpassed me and won 2 titles before 21.
I only just started at 21.
Oh, really? That's crazy.
Yeah, crazy. Well, a big thank you for coming with us today on Kicking Glass, the podcast for the women of the world doing Muay Thai. From Sue Glassy, your host, IFMA Female Commission and Gender Equality. We love you. We're going to keep watching you. We're going to join onto your socials, follow your stories, and see where you go. Please tag us in at #KickingGlass and follow us on IFMA_women. And not next week because we're going fortnightly, we've got the youth championships coming up. We have a athlete from Belgium who has won her way through the youths and is now going into the under 23s. And we've also got a youth athlete who's, I think, 10 years old from New Zealand who is going over to her first world championships, Victoria. She's a Parr now too. Victoria Nansen is now Victoria Parr.
Yeah, she's a Parr. Awesome.
She's a Parr as well. So anyway, it will be another Parr we're going to be interviewing as well. That's funny. Thank you so much, and keep in touch.
Bye.